Francis and Jason here to discuss finally the NBA free agency clip of the day. We were thinking about shooting it this morning. It would have gone up earlier, but then we would have missed out on all the money being sent out to guys like Chandler Parsons, to guys like Evan Fournier, to guys like, oh, let's just get to the card, Jesus. So I was talking with JR before this clip too. And JR, I agree with him on this one. It's not the player's fault that they're getting paid this much. You know, as a player, go make your money. But the owners, they're the ones to blame for some of these signings, mostly because can't you pay less for the same product? That's the big question of NBA free agency. So let's get to the cards. We have F12 and F13, which is free agent signings 1 and then 2. In no particular order, Nicolas Batum to the Hornets, 5 years, $120 million. Bradley Beal re-signed with the Washington Wizards for 5 years, $128 million. DeMar DeRozan breaks the bank on this card with the Raptors, 5 years, $145 million. Jordan Clarkson, one of the better signings, I believe, re-signing with the Lakers, 5 years, $50. Al Jefferson, probably the best signing.
Yeah, Pacers.
Indiana Pacers, because look at the money. $10 million a year is nothing. Jeremy Lin to the Nets. We'll do this in post, but let's throw to Jared Jack's response on Twitter. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, not bad for a teammate who you're potentially playing with to share his thoughts.
Welcome
already.
to Brooklyn. I don't think you're real. That's unbelievable. Back to the cards so we can read through the rest of these.
Big Tim.
Timofey Mozgov to the Lakers, 4 years, $64 million. According to Real Plus Minus, Timofey Mozgov is worse, negative 3.56, than Roy Hibbert. Oof. Not Timofey Mozgov's fault, though. Make that money. Hassan Whiteside re-signs with the Heat, 4 years, $98 million. Andre Drummond, I'll get you an official number, but according to the initial reports, re-signing with the Pistons, 5 years, between $125 and $130 million. Very good job by the Pistons. Evan Turner to the Blazers in one of the bigger moves today, 4 years, $70 million. Chandler fucking Parsons, man. Memphis Grizzlies, 4 years, $94.8 million. And Evan Fournier re-signing with the Magic for 4 years, $85 million. I can't believe he's an $85 million player. First things first, the salary cap has gone up. Second things second, okay? I said on a clip a week ago, Robin Lopez is a cheap big man. Now do you know what I'm saying? Have you seen what money is going out to certain players? If the Bulls are mad, Bulls fans are mad that you have $13 million for Robin Lopez, at least you didn't pay Timofey Mozgov $6, $7, $8 million more per year.
For what I'm looking at the Lakers, and I watched them closely this year, we have a Lakers fan crying in the studio at the moment.
He's okay. He's going to make.
No, he's crying.
He's going to make.
He
has so many championships.
Jordan Clarkson, great decision, right?
Yeah,
great decision, and a cheap decision.
Cheap.
It's just
Got him at the dollar store.
my knowledge of the NBA is growing along with my liking, as you guys know, of the sport. But it's so fun. It's a fun sport that the unanimous MVP, because he signed a few years back, is getting paid less than Timothy Mozgov. Now he's getting paid at the Lakers. That's funny to me. That's just that actually is right in a certain amount of ways, because what happens in other sports is as soon as you start to hit form, bang, you demand more money, you get a bigger contract.
Yeah.
And it happens in the NBA is that, unfortunately, what you signed for is what you're going to be held accountable to until you have to re-sign or you have to opt out your contract, or how these things go out. So again, absolutely right, Jason. The players, you cannot get mad at players for taking a ridiculous amount of money. If you were in the same situation, what would you do?
Make your money.
You would make that dollar. It's the teams that don't understand what they need. They don't understand what is going to fix the problem. And I'm talking about the Lakers. Yeah, I think they could have made plenty of more acquisitions. They still potentially could. But for a large amount of money to go on a big man who statistically isn't any better than who you already have in that position at Hibbert, I think Lakers fans are rightfully so pissed off.
Well, it's a 50-50 because they should be thrilled they re-signed Clarkson. I actually was surprised. I thought Clarkson was gone.
Interesting.
But it also means a lot because, D'Angelo Russell is going to be a name in trades rumors for the next 2 years. Every trade deadline, do we swap D'Angelo Russell for these players? I think that's going to come up. But because they signed Clarkson, it means they're going with Clarkson for at least right this second, and we'll see what happens with the development of D'Angelo Russell, of course the development of Julius Randle, and even more importantly, Brandon Ingram, who, if you've seen, I think we can actually show his workout tape with the Lakers. It's usually too early to jump on, oh my God, this workout tape is amazing, but last year we watched Karl Anthony Towns knocking down threes, and I was going, oh man, this guy's going to be good. Brandon Ingram has a special skill set when it comes to creating space, and it's going to be fun to watch him. So we can throw in that tape a little bit of some highlight of form for you in this clip. But Brandon Ingram didn't sign for millions of dollars today. Actually, he did sign for millions, a few million.
Few mil.
A couple days back at the
Pocket
NBA
change
draft.
for a new rookie coming into the league. Not bad.
Let's go back to that first card, though, because there's some very important moves that were made that I think would make an immediate impact and will be great. I think DeRozan is too much money, but I do understand that for him to re-sign with the Raptors, it's not his fault he's going to get paid $145 million. And if he can find his three-point shot, that backcourt proved a lot last season, getting to that point. Bradley Beal, if he can stay healthy. Nicolas Batum is good, and stick around because tomorrow, Saturday, we're doing a clip in regards to Harrison Barnes' free agency status, and we're going to be doing some player comps into what other players are worth. One of those guys is Nicolas Batum. Hassan Whiteside, we kind of went into detail the other day with his importance to the Heat and what he could be in terms of an experiment if he develops even more defensively. But I think on that whole list, Larry Bird is smarter than everybody else because Larry Bird is running the Pacers, and he decided to sign Al Jefferson for $30 million for 3 years, $10 million a year. Al Jefferson was injured last season, and if he reverts to his 2014 form, that's a dominant big man who only has to play 20-ish, 25 minutes a game because they already have a young big in Miles Turner.
Yeah.
They traded for Jeff Teague. You have a top 10 NBA player in Paul George, and now you can expend Monta Ellis if you'd like to get even more role players or find another shooter or keep him because he can score.
I think
that's the second most dangerous team in the Eastern Conference, save for maybe the Raptors.
Well, I would like to see them maybe bring in another shooter because, as we know, Paul George at times turns over the ball, but I mean, he's still a quality player. I just think that from what we've seen in the movement in the Eastern Conference, no one else has put their hand up and say, you know what, we're moving forward to further compete than what we have done last year. The Raptors, I do agree, but with how much money's been spent elsewhere, it's just like, it's 6.5 a dozen. I'm like, okay, you're spending that much on DeMar DeRozan, but who else that is available would you actually get that can deliver the way he can when he's consistently performing? And the Raptors have proven they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. They're a team that are going to compete next year. They have to add furthermore, though, in order for them to compete with the Cleveland Cavs.
They still might lose Bismack Biyombo, and that's a major defensive piece. And I think they should throw money at Bismack Biyombo. I think you want to keep some form of a core. It's tough because no one really looks at the Lowry, DeRozan, Biyombo core, big three, and they go because I think that Jonas Valanciunas, again, all these bigs have health worries. If you're a big man in the NBA, there's never been a big man in the NBA that's played 15 straight seasons without missing a game. Most players don't do that. But in terms of like the injuries, it happens more to bigs than it does to guards, historically.
Big men full hard.
Evan Turner to the Blazers is a super fun signing. Why do I say it's a super fun signing? Well, Damian Lillard is not the best one-on-one defender in the NBA. His biggest weakness probably is on the defensive end of the floor, like a lot of point guards in the league. There's only, I don't want to throw out like a generality here, but in terms of point guards, you think of Chris Paul, Mike Conley, even Kyle Lowry at times as great two-way point guards. Everybody else falls into the same mesh of like, even Russell Westbrook, who's super athletic, isn't the best defensive point guard in the league. So Evan Turner paired up with Damian Lillard in the backcourt pretty much balances out the fact that now you have a help defense in terms of Evan Turner when it comes to matching up against better point guards in the league. And you can run a great small ball lineup if you want to put Lillard, that's the tiniest lineup in the league, but like Evan Turner, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and then you got to figure out the other pieces of that team. They have, why am I blanking on his name? Meyers Leonard, who got injured in the playoffs last year but was showing promise and getting better. You need to still sign. That's why I thought the Whiteside of the Blazers would have been great. Yeah. And now it seems like because Parsons is on the Grizzlies, I think Dwight is following Parsons, or it was supposed to be a package deal. And we were discussing Dwight Howard of the Blazers makes a lot of sense.
I would like to have seen it. You make a valid point when it comes to the Trailblazers. I was going to go with a smart decision, and I completely agree with the defensive aspect of it, because let's look at the Western Conference. You can bring in another second scorer who can potentially score as efficiently as Damian Lillard, and you can try to keep pace with Golden State or try to keep pace with OKC next year. But the reason the Trailblazers fall short is that defensive aspect. How are you supposed to guard against the Splash Brothers? Well, you shore things up defensively. You do what Kyrie Irving did for the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is why I think the NBA is so fascinating because you literally have a great case study right in front of you. Well, the Cleveland Cavaliers, I don't think on paper are as good a team collectively as Golden State Warriors and have as good individual players, minus LeBron James, of course. But as a team, they work so well to counteract the Splash Brothers and counteract those teams. So you have to take that as a reference point. And when you bring in someone like Evan Turner, who's going to be defensively sound and help with Damian Lillard, you're not going to go and win the Western Conference. I mean, we'd all love to see a Cinderella story, but you're going to give yourself a better shot. And these are the sort of decisions that teams in the West should be making.
All right, guys, comment below. Courtney Lee's also going to probably be on the move. But comment below. There's a lot of free agent deals. We're going to be back, obviously, next week when the bigger names, the biggest of names, Kevin Durant, Al Horford, Dwight Howard, all start to move as well. At Francis_Maxwell, at JasonRuben91. We'll see you next time.